This is Sam Escarobo, and you're listening to DDOcast.
Dance the cultists in their folly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Watch them kill and disembowel, fa la 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 la. Troll a Yuletide carol foul, fa la 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 la.
Hey, today's music is Dance of the Cultists from the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society on their album A Very Scary Solstice, which is a pretty fun album. I happen to own a copy of it. Lots and lots of Cthulhu Christmas theme songs. Anyway, hello and welcome to DDOcast, episode 263, recorded live on December 16th, 2012. I'm your host, Siegfried Trent. With me is lovely producer and wife, Anne Trent. Hello, darling.
Hey, Merry Festivus, everyone.
And our favorite guest, Jeff. Hannah, welcome to the show.
Merry Festivus, everyone.
Indeed. You can catch live shows most Sunday afternoons on G Plus Hangouts as DDOcast or at www.ddocast.com/live. You can watch recorded shows on YouTube or listen to it on iTunes or on our RSS feed. Get all the showtimes, updates, and DDO goodness on Facebook, Twitter, or G Plus as DDOcast. If you want to be a part of the show, you can contact us. You can leave a voicemail on the toll-free YARK line at 1-855-DDO-YARK. That's 1-855-336-9275, or email us at ddocast@gmail.com. So, what have we got on the podcast this week? Well, mostly we've got gaming news. We've got a little chat between Jeff and myself and Anne about the game and stuff, and we have the Parade of Patches, as I'm calling it officially. You gotta have a catchy news headline, you know? So anyway, what kind of game news we got? Parade of Patches begins with Update 16 Patch 1, which went live on Wednesday, December 12th. We'll go over exactly what was in there a little later in the show, but a summary: festival is in full swing. You get your coins, enjoy the winter weather, and have lots of cookies by turning them into the festival jester. Look for the floating stones to find him. And also, we've got astral shards in the game, which are kind of alternate currency that they introduced. Smaller denominations than astral diamonds, shards can be used to purchase various in-game items and store services, etc. We'll talk about that a little bit more as well when we get in depth on Update 16 Patch 1. Also, various fixes to enhancements, epic destinies, quests, stuff like that. More bug fixing going on. And oh yeah, a lot of bugs. In fact, fairly obnoxious and rather embarrassing ones that people spotted right off the bat and led Turbine to do a hotfix pretty quickly, in fact. So the patch came out on Wednesday. 2 days later, we had the hotfix for Update 16 Patch 1, which went live on Friday, December 14th. So what kind of exciting bugs did they have? Well, they broke the Lost in the Swamp quest. You couldn't do it because the root walls wouldn't break, but they fixed that. The astral shards were having a little bit of a conversion error with airship costs. The shard cost should now be equivalent to the old astral diamond costs. They were about double, which one of the users on the forums pointed out, did the math, figured out airships cost twice as much. So apparently they have fixed that, which is good. They had some string table errors in the Blessings of Ontar. I'm not sure I saw anyone complain about that, but apparently they noticed it. The Stone of Experience provided in the holiday box, which again we'll discuss a little later, could now be used. It wasn't able to be used if you spent your 5,000 turbine points to get that. The brokers should now properly buy and sell things from the players when you went to a broker in the game. Not all the merchants had this effect, but the brokers did, where there was no buy tab, and the sell tab behaved kind of like the buy tab, and the whole thing was pretty strange. So they fixed that. Collectible bags can now be moved again. They were kind of locked in place. They didn't have a little handlebar you could move them with. The Fire Shield spell was turning itself off the moment you cast it. They fixed that. And they put in a little bit more physics changes for lingering situations where players and monsters could be thrown through walls or floors. The stuck command can now be used can now be used once per hour rather than once per day to deal with all the sending yourself through walls and floors. That's nice. The refined LFM panel will be less resource heavy. I guess there was a little bit of a trouble with the resource of the LFM panel. I'm not sure. Also, the auction house wasn't allowing anybody to use level range for items. Didn't say that they fixed that. I'm not sure if they did or not. Public grouping feature has been re-enabled because they had disabled it previously. And the Evening Star now has festive winter weather. Let it snow, they say in the patch notes. Well, snow it did. It snowed as soon as they re-enabled the public grouping feature. It snowed public grouping messages because they would never go away. You'd make them, and then they would stay there forever and ever and ever, which led to a server bounce on Friday night. The LFM for dynamic groups were getting stuck in the LFM list, quickly filling it up. So they took it down around 10:30 for half an hour. Then they took it down a few hours later, and so on and so forth. Apparently, they're also reviewing the LFM logs for hate speech and other extreme violations of the LFM policy, and will hand out discipline accordingly with an iron fist. Apparently, folks took the opportunity to make asses of themselves in their LFMs. Mocking Turbine, which is actually probably permitted to some extent, but also saying incredibly offensive things about various people. So that's no good. They anticipate doing yet another push of code fix for this problem soon. I was a little confused as to whether public grouping had been disabled or not. Apparently not, because they've been bouncing the servers ever since. Yeah, so... And they were down just as we were preparing the show notes, in fact. On the 7th day, the servers were taken down on Sunday from 1 p.m. to 2:30. And I guess they went down a few times earlier as well. Bounces at 10:30 Eastern Saturday and 1 p.m. Eastern on Sunday afternoon. So it's been crazy. We've never seen them go down this often. I will say I'm happy that they were responsive. I mean, they noticed serious problems, and they did something about it fast. And apparently they've been working most of the weekend trying to get this stuff sorted out. But I have to say, especially when the first patch for Update 16, Patch 1 went on, I wasn't angry. I'm rarely angry about things in a video game. But I was certainly embarrassed. It was just kind of like, really? Really? These bugs? You didn't notice some of this stuff at all, even though you were directly working on those parts of the game? And I don't know. So there was a certain amount of cringing involved from me. Did you actually play under any of this, Jeff?
Yeah, I. By the way, the auction house did have levels on it when I looked at it this morning.
Oh, okay, good.
The biggest impact for me so far has been they keep having to close down the servers, and at least they're giving us enough notice that I have time to finish whatever quest I'm in, even at my glacial pace. So I've been able to get in and out. I think that what we're seeing here, and this is just purely speculation, but they're a Scrum development shop, and this is probably more technical than anybody cares about, but Scrum's weakness is regression testing.
Yeah.
It just is.
Yeah, that's true. You have a limited time for it. And, yeah, it really, I don't know, it's definitely kind of messy. And, I mean, everybody's noticed that it's kind of been worse in the last year or so, and I don't know what the deal is, but, I mean, I know they're pretty dedicated. Yeah. They care.
Yeah, and they did have an organizational shake-up, new leaders. They did lay off a couple people. Which departments they were exactly? Rumors were that it was partly part of the dev department that got laid off. So, I mean, like, perhaps instead of a Scrum cycle, they should probably switch to a, let's see if I can pull out my software engineering speak. Perhaps an iterative cycle with a regression integration phase.
I don't know, it's a little disappointing too, because Update 16 was so good, bug-wise.
Yeah.
And it was really a pretty solid release.
Yeah, it's true. It wasn't bad at all. I mean, it was chugging along nicely. All the quests were working, and then Patch 1 came in. And the thing that probably annoyed me a little more than not is a lot of these bugs. If you look at the areas of the game where the really obvious stuff was happening, there were also a lot of the same areas that they were adjusting to have these new shard things. Right, so this was basically kind of a commerce push. It was, stuff in the store and new features in the game to allow you to spend this virtual currency, and that's what brought all these bugs down on us in a pretty embarrassing and nasty way. So I don't know. That's too bad. I mean, the content, they got it all very nice. It was working good. I mean, we did have the physics problems there, which were definitely a pain. But at least it was just one bug, and physics are hard to work out. I can kind of understand those. But a lot of this stuff just, to me, was kind of sloppy, and like, hey, we didn't bother testing the brokers, even though we changed the broker interface. Ugh. Not so great. Yeah, not good. At least, like I said, they are working hard and kind of, paying for their mistakes, in a sense, burning the midnight oil on the holidays. So thanks, guys. I appreciate that. But
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing, but it's like, I don't know, watching your best friend walk around without any pants.
Yeah.
It's like,
Like,
hey, did you know that you're not wearing any pants today? I just wanted to let you know. That's okay for Samus, but with you, I kind of worry about it.
Anybody other than him, yeah. Oh well. I mean, they know it as usual, but it's just measure twice, cut once. I don't know. I know how embarrassing releases go, but I try not to have them myself. And personally, I like the Kanban system, continuous integration. That's one of my favorite software development life cycles. But I don't know that it helps. It's any better or worse with quality assurance. It's just it's a nice cadence. Anyway, let's see. Continuing with our news. And so far as we know, there may be future server bounces. They are working on a code fix for this stuff for the LFMs. I think that's the only really remaining problem. And I'm sure as soon as they have it nailed down, they will do a release, and we'll not have giant piles of LFMs. I mean, it does let you know that lots of people are running quests all the time, so there's no lack of activity in the game. Stuck command increased. Oh yeah, we talked about this, but the /stuck command, it's very useful if you do get stuck in a wall, type /stuck. You can now do it once per hour, which I would say actually it probably always should have been kind of like that. I guess you can kind of abuse the thing, but I don't know. For the most part, it's a very useful thing to have. Let's see. Winter bonus days we've got going on. You can enjoy +2 loot from December 13th through 16th. There was also some talk of extending that particular bonus because of all the trouble we've been having, so that people can enjoy it fully, especially since we went down on the weekend quite a bit, which they like to avoid. So yeah, I always notice when the +2 loot is out. It definitely makes a difference. DDO store news. As I mentioned, they've got this thing called the Otto's Irresistible Holiday Box. This is a new sort of holiday-themed seasonal package. It costs 4,995 turbine points, or as we like to say, about $50, which is a lot for an item. You do get 5 major XP elixirs, 5 major Slayer boosts, 5 major Jewels of Fortune, 5 Spirit Cakes, 3 major Greater Spirit Cakes, your choice of a Gelatinous Cube Companion, or 65 of these new Astral Shards, and most significantly, a Stone of Experience that takes you from level 8 to level 15 in an instant. And they are usable if you use the ones during the Menace of the Underdark kind of shard giveaway. These ones you can use anyway, even if you had the other ones on the account. However, there is a stipulation. Only the character that opens the gift box can use the shard, can benefit from it. So you can use the shard, I believe, on someone else, kind of like you could with the old ones. So you can sort of be the person who opens it and then bestow it on someone else. But something along those lines. Anyway, the thing is their shards are tradable, so people are putting on the auction house and selling them and stuff. But it turns out, unless you open that box, you can't actually activate the shard. They also weren't working at first. They say that even though you used the other ones on your account, that you could use these, and that wasn't happening. But that has been fixed in the patch. And so that's the deal. There's some discussion as to whether or not such a thing is worth 5,000 turbine points, and I think that really just comes down to how much money you have and how freely you like to spend it playing DDO. So I think that's the way with anything in the store. If you got lots of money or you like spending money on DDO, you don't really mind or don't think about it, then who cares how much it costs, I suppose. But if you're very value conscious, then yeah, I don't think you'd probably spend the money on this. I guess it just depends. I suppose I'd be tempted. I like Stones of Experience. I like leveling characters. It's one of my favorite things in the game. So I could see doing that. But I haven't bought one of these. I don't really plan on it. But I could see the mood striking me someday. There's a lot of talk on the forums of this is pay to win. That's always kind of the anathema of in-game currencies, or not in-game currencies, but paying real money to get stuff in the game. Can you spend real cash in order to win DDO? And again, I think that depends on your perspective. I don't care myself. If somebody wants to pay money to not level their character and that makes them happy, then that's fine by me. Maybe they suck in quests. I don't really care. Some people suck in quests no matter what you do. Some people are awesome no matter what you do. So it's just a personal decision as far as I'm concerned. It's not a competitive game. So I don't really care. But I know some people that it kind of rubs them the wrong way. And I think especially if you're a veteran player and you want to level a character from 8 to 15 just because you want to, then You've already leveled lots of characters.
I'd like to make a correction. It's actually 18 to 16. It gives you XP to 16, not 15.
8 to 16, not 15? Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 8 to 16. Right.
Good correction there, darling. Thank you. So, I don't know. What do you think, Jeff? Play to win? Do you care?
Well, I care, but I don't think 8 to 16 is that big a deal. 16 to 20 is way harder than 8 to 16.
It's true.
I am curious, though. You say this works even if you've used one on your account. Does it work on the same character?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, you would be on another life for it to matter because you can't go backwards, right? But
right.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, some people see this as kind of the TR package, right? So if you're going to true reincarnate, not only do you get 8 to 16, you can get to 8 pretty fast in a couple of evenings easily. But then you get the 5 major XP elixirs and Slayer boost to help you jump up to 20. So, and kind of everything you might want if you're doing the TR grind. So,
you know what this really is? I know what this really is. Remember last week we were talking about how Lord of the Rings Online has a $50 horse stick that helps you run faster?
Yeah.
This is a $50 horse stick for DDO.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think it's the same thing. Except that I would find this a lot more valuable than the horse stick, right? I mean, of course, some people on the forums were saying, "Look, I'm not buying it until you include a hobby horse in here." Put a hobby horse in the package and I'm sold. But
I don't know if you've ever played Lotro. You spend an awful lot of time going from place to place.
Oh yeah, on the horses.
DDO, what do you spend an awful lot of time leveling up? Oh well.
Yeah. No, I guess it makes similar sense. Although they were saying that. What? Oh yeah. It's a lot.
For $15, I want a flying hippopotamus in that box.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just like, pop the hippopotamus out, climb on it, fly around in the marketplace, and then I'm good. That's my $50.
You know what? You know what? If it should come with a T-shirt. If it was $50, you get all this stuff in a T-shirt, I might actually do that.
Yeah, I mean, like if you had a real $50 T-shirt, well, you get all the virtual stuff, but you get a T-shirt in the mail that you could put on.
I spent
that would be awesome.
I spent $50 on a DDO holiday box, and all I got was this lousy T-shirt. Right?
That would be very appropriate when the stones weren't working.
No, it should be called the DDO 1% box.
Well, I guess the term that people were using on the forums is the same one they use in like casinos and stuff. They were calling the sort of players that this appeals to most as whales. Like, there are people who play MMOs and will spend pretty much any amount of money on the, because they're fairly wealthy and it's not really all that much money if you have a lot. So, and they don't care. They're having a good time, so they're happy to spend it. I can understand that to an extent. I'll drop a lot of money on dinner or something, so this isn't any more expensive than that. A little night out. I'm sure I'd enjoy it, but I don't know. I guess sort of feel like there's a certain amount of money I should spend on any given game, and I try not to do much more than that. But yeah, I find it attractive, but I don't know. I'm not real tempted to buy them. We'll see. What else we got in the store that's not quite as interesting but cute? Bear Cub cosmetic pets are in the store through December 20th, so you can be a bear and have a bear cub and summon a bear and have a little bear family. I do that with the wolf fairly often. 20% off of shared bank space, bank upgrades, storage bags, and Plat Vault upgrades. All things that I have bought, actually, from the store. Those are the kind of things that I find most useful and often spend my points on. So
I've bought every one of those except
let's see.
All of them?
Except
the
Plat
Plat Vault.
Yeah, I bought all the rest of them.
Yeah. Yeah, do you have to buy the base Plat Vault? I don't remember, or you just expand it? I don't recall. Oh, great, there's a cat on my table. It's shaking the can. This is a DDO cat. All right. I had to give him his moments of fame. Let's see. How to buy Turbine points via Steam if you're having trouble. So we talked about this before, and David Daly sent in this tip, which is really handy. So here's an easy way that you can get around the problem that Anne was having, where you go to the store and you get a blank screen. So what you need to do here is to make a shortcut to the actual DDO.com icon. So you go into like C, Program Files, Steam, Steam Apps, Common, Dungeons & Dragons Online, or whatever the folder is. So you need to find where Steam is keeping the application. and then just using your Windows browser or whatever, make a shortcut of that file, and then stick it in the start menu or put it on your desktop, and then you can just run that, and you'll essentially be running without the connection to Steam, and you'll be able to use the store normally. So apparently what Steam does is it just launches DDO app. It probably passes in a little parameter that says, hey, you're running this from Steam, and then DDO does a few behaviors differently, like the store. So all you have to do is just run it directly, not through the Steam interface, and you're good to go. And you can use the store. And then you can go back and run it normally if you'll like people to know you're playing DDO and Steam and that kind of thing. So great tip, and big thanks to David for that. It'd probably save a lot of people a lot of hassle, and maybe make Turbine a little bit more money. So good to know. So let's do, we're going to move on to one of our special features this week, the thing that we didn't do last week, which is talk about the new named loot found in the High Road Adventure Pack Quest series. That's update 16. And I think there's a lot of great items in here. So I don't know, I'll read them a little bit, and then Jeff, you want to lead the comment? And oh, hey, there's the cat. He made it all the way upstairs.
He did.
There he is. That's Kekowar, named after a D&D character. Or an NPC, actually, but anyway. So we'll go over these items, and then I'll let you start, Jeff, and then I'll comment, and you want to chime in if you like, if you got one, if you think it's a good item, that sort of thing. So, but we'll tell you what they are, where they're found, and what they do. So the Bastion is a tower shield made out of plain forged steel. It's base armor 12, max dex 2, base DR is 8, properly matches the top tier loot gen tower shields. You can get that in the Stay at the Inn quest. It's in the Innkeeper's Hidden Chest. And then all these items basically have 3 levels. They got an Epic, an Epic Hard, and an Epic Elite. And if you run the quest at that level, you'll get that version of the item when you open it, which I think is a great little mechanic. So the Epic version on this is a +6, improved bashing, shield bashing 10%, DR 10 piercing, and shattering 9. And then Epic Hard increases the enhancement
Sheltering.
bonus. Sheltering? Oh, you're right, sheltering. Okay.
It's sheltering. It's a new trait.
No, okay.
I'll look
I don't
it
know
up.
what sheltering does. Okay,
Yeah, what does
sounds good.
sheltering even do?
Yeah, we're going to find out, and we'll research it as we go. Anyway, the Epic Hard one goes up to +7. You get 20% shield bashing instead of 10, and that's about the only difference. And then Epic Elite, you get DR 15 piercing and sheltering +12 instead of +9. So you just get a little bit better at each level.
Sheltering provides physical resistance rating. PR.
Okay, so it adds to the PRR. Gotcha. Which means it, reduces your damage by some fairly smallish percent, depending on where you're already at. Thoughts on this one, Jeff?
Well, I guess the PRR is a plus. Who wears a shield? Usually tank, right? So I would be looking for something that's going to help hold aggro, or I guess the PRR and the DR are going to be handy if you're turtling up.
Yep.
I'm
Seems
just
like a good
shield guy.
Yeah, I don't have anybody in my guild who uses a shield, like that I've seen play at high level.
Mhm.
Now, I have a couple lower mid-level characters that do, but I don't have anybody up at the max level.
Actually, the only high-level characters I have that regularly wear shields are my casters. I have caster shields on them, so they can, put up some kind of area of effect, and then.
Yeah, we don't know what the ASF, the arcane spell failure, is on the shield, but as a tower shield, it's probably really high, so not a good caster shield. Now, in regular D&D, I've made characters that only cast spells that don't trigger arcane spell failure, and it's kind of funny. You make big armored wizards. And,
Sure.
Yeah, which is kind of neat, but hard to do in DDO. I looked into that before, and there aren't very many spells that are like that.
No.
Let's.
Go ahead.
Oh no.
There's 7-finger gloves and so forth. So and you can craft arcane dexterity. So it's not hard to have an armored caster. Not a very well armored caster though.
Yeah, a lot easier to do now, but the tower shields are still really tough to overcome.
Yeah.
Let's see, we've got the Bracers of the Twisting Shade. Bracers made of leather. They're in the quest, a Stay at the End, in the end chest, so same quest as that tower shield. So the epic version is Disable Device 17, Search 17, Exceptional Seeker 4, which means it stacks with regular Seeker, Blurry, and Resistance +6. And then the epic hard version, the resistance goes up to +7, and epic elite you get +20 Disable Device and Search, The Exceptional Seeker goes all the way up to +5, and those are the differences. So I think these are great if you're a rogue. I mean, you can have Disable and Search on one item, and Exceptional Seeker, which is great, and the Blurry is really nice to always have, and Resistance 7. As far as I know, I don't know a lot of other Resistance 7 items, so that's a pretty nice saving throw, which is really good if you're a trapper, generally speaking. So I think these are great.
Yeah, I think they'd be great for an Artificer, too. Or
yes.
And the Exceptional Seeker, though, especially for an Artificer, I think that would be very useful.
That's true. Yeah, Seeker's real nice on Artificers. Lots of attacks, fair number of criticals. Goes pretty good.
Yep.
Now, that's universal resistance, right, for all kinds of lightning, acid, cold, etc.?
No, resistance is usually it's a bonus to your saving throws, so it'll add to all of your different saving
Just
throws.
wanted to make sure.
Fortitude,
There's
reflex,
many kinds of resistances in this game.
Yeah, that's true.
But most elements have reflex resistance, so in most cases, yes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and any area spells it's going to be helpful for. So, yeah, that's a nice big one. It's great for dodgy, that sort of thing. I don't know. I'll definitely be looking for these on my character Siegfried, who is kind of a rogue ranger fighter character, and all that stuff would be real handy. Let's see, Treads of the Falling Shadow. This is one of my favorite items that they have, and I've been trying to get them and haven't yet. They're boots made of leather. They are in the quest Detour, and they're in the end chest. And Detour is a bit of a long quest to grind through. Not super long, but there's a lot of fighting. The epic version is Striding 30, which you always want to see on boots, I think, these days. Ghostly, Dexterity +7, and Insightful Dexterity +2. You don't often see a stat bonus plus the Insightful version of the bonus on the same item. Epic Hard, you get additional Insightful Dexterity, goes up to +3, and then the Epic Elite version has Dex 8 and Insightful Dex +3. So, so that's 11 points of Dexterity. Pretty awesome. And you get Ghostly, which is the Incorporeal Mischance. It's kind of like Blurred, but it's a different type, so it stacks up with Blurry. Man.
Awesome.
These are fantastic boots, right? Like, I don't have a character, pretty much, that wouldn't want to wear a pair of these. Because they almost all wear Strider 30s, and they don't have anywhere near as good of bonuses on them, so pretty amazing.
I wasn't excited until you pointed out the fact that they double down on dexterity the way they do, because Ghostly is a great attribute, but it's on so many things.
Yeah, it is on quite a few things.
And and who doesn't have Striding 30 on, but now that you pointed out, doubling down on dexterity like that, that's a real plus.
Yeah, I think they're really great. The only character I wouldn't have mind that I couldn't see using them on would be like my Pale Master, because he doesn't care about dexterity. He can be much more ghostly if he wants to be, and so that's. I mean, they'd still be good, but they wouldn't be special for him. It'd be kind of like, yeah, I guess I'll wear those. Let's see. So then we move to the Wizard's Orb, and a lot of people have been hunting these down. This is one of the new orb items. It's a spellcasting implement that you hold in your offhand. You also get these in the Detour quest, but they come in Song's chest, which is kind of a mini-boss halfway through, who's surrounded by very nasty traps. That's the hardest thing about that encounter. And she moves the traps around. It's really kind of clever and interesting. But anyway, the epic version is +6, has a random spell power, either Combustion, Corrosion, Glaciation, Impulse, or Magnetism at +108. You get Spell Focus Mastery 2, which is basically +2 on the DCs of pretty much any type of spell. Spell Penetration 5, 6, 7, 8, it looks like, and Elemental Absorption 10%, which is going to take 10% off of any type of elemental damage that you happen to take. And as you get the higher level versions of those, basically the amount of spell power you get from the item goes up. So at Hard, you get +114 spell power, and at Elite, you get +120 spell power. Also, on Elite, the Spell Penetration goes up to Spell Pen 9, which is quite ideal. And the enhancement bonus goes up to +7, which also gives you a higher implement bonus to spell power as well. So these are pretty much, a lot of people are chasing them. They're pretty much one of the elite items to have for Damage Caster to hold in offhand for casting. So pretty cool stuff. And got her Acid one for her Acid Savant. Have you been enjoying it?
Oh yes, it's really good.
Yeah, good
I
stuff.
want the Epic Elite one. Hopefully I can convince the group to come with me.
Yeah, I'm sure we can do that. I mean, that one's a little bit of a grind, but we could do it.
Usually people go on Epic Hard, but not Epic Elite. It's hard to get people to go together.
Have you chased any of these down yet, Jeff?
No, actually. Well, I got one on a non-caster, which was not helpful because they're bound. But I'm looking. The only thing here that would excite me is the Epic Elite version. Spell Pen 8 is just not Spell Pen 9, right? And the spell power bonuses are nice, but they're not nicer than what you can get without grinding your eyes out in a quest over and over again. I already have that stuff in my inventory, so I think this would be at best an incremental improvement until you get to the Epic Elite. That plus 120 spell power is very nice. Yeah, and having Spell Pen 9 there means I could retire it off of some other slot where I'm currently carrying it. So that's my opinion. The Epic Elite is really nice. The other two, I don't think I'm going to go out of my way for.
Yeah, that makes sense. I haven't picked any up yet. I got one on a combat character that I didn't have much use for. And I looted the Impulse one the other night, but I gave it to a favorite soul in our group because he could use it better than I. So.
By the way, those orbs are bound on equip.
Oh, are they?
Well, yes. I think if you pull them out of the chest, they're bound on equip. If you get them from the end reward, they might be bound.
Account.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens is as an end reward, they're bound to account, meaning that, and then bind on equip. So you can put them in your shared bank and then transfer them to a character that you do want it on. But if you find them in a chest or on a chest, you can put them on the auction house.
Yeah, I have seen them up there, so that makes sense.
Do you think anybody's taken advantage of the fact that they also protect against spell resistance when you block?
I don't know. I rarely see anybody ever block anything. So
I block. I get spell resistance. I'm happy. I love mine. I'll actually tank, like in my acid cloud, because I can now. I can because I have over.
Oh, that's true. I do see you do that.
Yeah, I have over 621 hit points, and I have healing amp, so I can pretty much tank inside my area effects.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm working on my Pale Master so that he can sort of do that, but then he just procs off all these damage effects when people hit him and stuff. But it depends on how hard the monsters hit. If they hit too hard, I can't do it. Let's see. Next up, we've got something called Forgotten Light. It's a heavy mace of Dwarven Iron. It uses strength instead of strength or wisdom for attack and damage, and it has a double threat range, 19 through 20, for mace. You find that in the end chest of the Rest Stop quest. It is an epic +6 enhancement bonus, spellcasting implement +18, greater good, devotion +108, and radiance +108.
Oh, that is so pretty.
It's awfully nice. I mean, yeah, if you're a divine caster these days, anything that has devotion and radiance on it is just perfect, right? So, yeah, epic card goes up to a +7 enhancement bonus, +21 spellcasting implement, supreme good instead of greater good, and devotion radiance go up to 114, and then epic elite, basically it ups the devotion to 120 and the radiance to 120. So, yeah, hard to argue with that item. I mean, it's just good.
You see heavy mace and go bleh, but then you keep reading and it's like, oh man, my battle cleric wants one so badly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not a bad item for hitting people with. It's not great, but the only problem, my main cleric is a monk cleric and usually fights unarmed or with a staff, so it's a little bit of a bummer for me. But favorite soul, enjoy that plenty.
So on a side note, back to the Wizards or John Rowe on the chat board says, even the N word should be bind on equip, so those should be tradable.
Oh, okay.
So also Brad says in the chat channel, it's also worth mentioning while wearing the orb and blocking, you get a +7 orb bonus to all saving throws as well as elemental resistances. So.
Oh yeah,
pretty good item.
Wow, I thought
nice.
You got spell resistance for blocking.
Huh.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, kind of neat.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, much appreciated. Chat room, always very helpful with the show, I would say. Let's see. We've got the Roadwatch Bow, which is a longbow made of dark wood. You get that from the Rest Stop quest. And it is in the Gargoyle optional chest. Pardon me. And which is, by the way, a great foe to be using your bonus radiance item on. It's kind of fun to hammer him with light spells. Anyway, the epic version is 2.5 x 1d8, so it gets the weapon bonus of plus 1.5 over what it normally be. So it's 2.5 d8 base damage, plus 6 enhancement bonus, absolute law, aligned, and greater Heartseeker, which is a thing that does extra damage when you crit, which is pretty good. Then Epic Card is a plus 7 enhancement bonus, Supreme Law, aligned, greater Heartseeker, and then the Epic Elite is plus 7 enhancement, Supreme Law, aligned, and superior Heartseeker. And I guess that's pretty good. I mean, it's a high base damage bow, doesn't have any special crit properties, aligned, kind of useful. I don't know. It's not super exciting though. It's not a boss beater type bow, so I'm sure it does pretty good damage, but I wouldn't call this one super sexy.
Other than monks, who would be lawful in wielding bows at the same time?
Paladin Rangers?
A lot of people
Rangers?
or you could have UMD, so that's not a problem, but what are you going to get from it? Right? I mean,
yeah.
So it's not, you can't use it against devils, or you're not going to get as much of an advantage against devils, or I guess it would be good for demons.
Yeah.
What'll happen is that the new expansion is going to be Zoriat, and you'll be like supreme ruler if you have this bow.
Maybe. I mean, even if it's bypassing DR, I don't know that it's a super amazing bow. It's pretty good, but yeah. I mean, it has 1 damage proc on it, and a crit property, and a high base damage. So decent, but I don't know that anyone's super excited about that. This one, maybe yes, maybe no. I'm not sure. It's a Khopesh. It's made of wood, which is certainly strange, and it breaks DR adamantine, which is handy. You get this one from Lost in the Swamp in the end chest, and like the bow, it has a 2.5 times 1d8 base damage. So it's even a little bit more. These are a little more than a normal epic weapon. Plus 6 enhancement bonus, greater stone prison, and impellant, which is 2d6 force damage. And then the next level up is plus 7, and the next level up from that has cosmic, which I'm guessing is like a 3d6 force damage, but I don't know actually what cosmic does.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, but I'm going to assume it's a better force damage thing than impellant is.
Right.
So probably 3d6.
Yeah, maybe 4, but probably not. Okay.
And so, I don't know. Again, this is one of those ones where I'm guessing there's already better Khopeshes in the game, but this one does have a little bit more unusual things going for it. It's made of wood, so you can use it on rust monsters. Breaks DR adamantine, which can, is definitely helpful against a lot of critters that have DR adamantine resistance. It's got that high base damage, which is, something that's pretty handy on a Khopesh. And Greater Stone Prison is nice, although at epic levels things do make their save against that fairly often. But I don't know. This one seems pretty good. I've got one of them. I'm trying to get another one, and then I'll do some practical testing with them. And I don't have any great epic Khopeshes myself, so.
I think the Greater Stone Prison is a great trash clearer in epic. It's only a trash cleaner though. So yeah. I assumed when I first saw this made of wood that it was a druid weapon, or it could be it was aimed for druid.
Right.
But they let druids use metallic weapons, right? So unlike pen and paper.
I think so of certain types. There's definitely something there with the druid stuff. You can use scimitars on druids. There are some, exceptions for them, but.
So you'd have to use an exotic feat, but can a druid use this if they do? I don't know.
That's a good question. Yeah. If anybody knows, send us an email, DDOcast.com. We're curious. I suppose we could look it up on the forums, too. Somebody's probably asked that question.
Druid Khopesh users are rejoicing everywhere, maybe?
Yeah.
Both of them?
Both of them?
I mean, these may be better than any Khopeshes I currently own. I'll have to do some testing to see. They are pretty good, but I don't have any epic Khopeshes, so currently. I just have some green steels, and that's about it.
Well, the Greater Stone Prison is actually pretty good. And the fact that it's got adamantine on it, too, means that normally when you stone prison something, it starts getting DR on you.
Oh, that's right.
It won't now, right? So that's actually, I could see this being very useful as a against trash mobs.
Yeah. I'd certainly say it's a well-thought-out item. I mean, kind of a neat item design.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I don't know. It could double as a giant toothpick for some guy that's on.
Let's see. Whisper Chain is next up. This is a chainmail made of mithril, although it lacks the actual mithril enchantment effect. Base armor 9, max dex 11. You can find it lost in the swamp in the underwater chest. Epic +6 enhancement bonus, blurry, ghostly, superior false life, exceptional sneak attack +3, heightened awareness +4. Heightened awareness is basically an insight bonus to armor class. Epic hard, you get up to a +7 enhancement bonus. You get enhanced sneak attack +4, and then epic elite version, you get superior false life. Let's see, that's the same. Exceptional sneak attack bonus +5 and heightened awareness 5, which I don't know of any other heightened awareness 5 items. I'd say this is pretty good armor for a roguey type character. You get the blurry and the ghostly on one item, which is pretty nice. Superior false life, that never sucks. The exceptional sneak attack certainly is nice. Heightened awareness, pretty good. So I don't really see anything bad about it. I'm never really sure what kind of armor to wear on my rogue. I never find anything that matters because his armor just isn't high enough to be what you would call good. And so I can kind of just throw on, I don't know, whatever has the most beneficial traits on it. This has a lot, so.
So it is light armor, right? It does get that part of the mithril enchantment. Is that true?
That's right. Yeah, well, chainmail now is a light armor. So light armors are leather and chain.
Oh, I thought chain was medium.
No, it used to be, but they kind of combined chain shirt and chainmail, and so it's a light armor.
All right.
And then now the breastplates and scale are the mediums.
How does this compare to the Crystal Cove armor?
I'm gonna guess it doesn't have as high a max dex bonus because that Crystal Cove one has a huge dex allotment. So I'm thinking maybe this one has a little bit lower total armor value, but you have the blurry and ghostly on there, which are probably more valuable than armor class these days.
Yes.
So
Superior false life is nice.
yeah, no, that is really nice. I believe that's plus 40 hit points, so I like it when I can get it. So yeah, I think these are good. I mean, definitely it's a good item.
So, are there any dex-based fighters that would benefit from this?
Yeah, I mean, if you have an evasion character of some kind,
Okay.
I definitely think that could be good. Trying to think. I mean, I might wear this on like Siegfried, my ranger. So yeah.
Yeah,
that's
it's
not
good
bad.
for yeah.
Definitely. He has some sneak attack too, so he has a level of rogue and give me a little extra damage. Always nice. Well, he pulls
Yeah,
aggro a lot, so
Yeah. The max dex bonus on this item is 11.
yeah, which is pretty
with
high.
an armor bonus of 15, so
Yeah.
it's good.
That's,
And
yeah,
it
it's definitely
has
not bad.
it has armor check penalty -1 to all your skills that are physical based, and then
And nobody
of
cares
course
about
it's 15% spell failure.
Right, yeah. But that's overcomable, so yeah, you could wear this on a caster of some kind.
Yeah.
Blurry
you've got
ghostly on your
stacking
caster
bonuses, yeah.
could be nice. I don't know. But I think it's mostly a skirmisher armor.
I could wear this on Anne.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. Anne's been gearing up her arcane spell bypass, or what is it, arcane dexterity? Yeah, so that you can
Yes,
wear the
arcane
green
dexterity. I can
dragon
wear things
scale.
like this.
What are you trying to? Oh, for the green dragon scale armor you're trying to build.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
It
trying
is
to
good
make my
looking
tunes
armor.
look schmexy.
Yeah, it's good looking armor, no doubt. All right.
A little drafty, maybe, but
Not really useful. It sure looks good.
Ridiculous. The shiny part, please.
yeah. Let's see. Nether Grasp. We're almost done with these. Is gloves made of leather. End quest of the end of the road in the end chest. The epic version is lesser arcane casting dexterity that we were just talking about. Open lock plus 17. Diversion 20%. I don't know what that is. I don't know.
Diversion. I'll look
We'll
it
have
up.
to have, researcher Ann check that one out. Seeker plus 8 and Demonic Might, which is a profane strength bonus plus 2. The epic hard version, very similar. In fact, I'm having a hard time seeing what's different about. Oh, it's regular arcane dexterity instead of lesser. And then epic elite bumps up the open lock to plus 20, and the seeker goes to plus 10. And it's still got the demonic might. So, and these go real well with those bracers before. You have all your trap skills there in 2 sets of items. Seeker, that one has exceptional seeker. This one has regular seeker. So you can max out your seeker with these guys. the arcane casting dexterity is an interesting choice. I mean, I'm thinking rogue and artificers, and that does nothing for most of those guys. But if you got a rogue wizard, I guess these make a ton of sense, especially if you fight with them. Although most rogue wizards I know don't really fight; they're just pure casters. So, but I don't know. I had one that did
diversion. Diversion. Yeah? This item reduces the threat generated by melee damage by 20%.
Okay, so melee threat reduction. Which is okay. And these are interesting. To me, they're a little less like the sort of thing that people are like, yes, I need all those traits. I don't know. What do you think, Jeff?
I see Seeker plus 10 on the glove slot and say, I've got to have those.
Yeah, okay. Just for that alone, yeah.
Who cares what else is on there? They can take the other things back,
Yeah.
You lose armor class when you put these on. And your strength, well, no, you can't have your strength go down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
Seeker plus 10 on glove slots seems really sexy to me.
That is true. Yeah, that is a really good power. Let's see. Shadow Mail is up next. Scale Mail made of split forged iron, base armor 11, max dex 12, which is interesting because this is a medium armor and it has a greater max dex than the light armor does. But whatever. It's from the End of the Road quest in the end chest. Epic +6 enhancement bonus Twilight, Combustion, Corrosion, Glaciation, and Impulse plus 108. Wizardry 9 and Arcane Lore. And the hard version is +7 enhancement bonus, Twilight, Combustion, etc., plus 114. Wizardry 9, Greater Arcane Lore instead of regular Arcane Lore. And then the final version is Greater Twilight, plus 120, Wizardry X, and Greater Arcane Lore. Yeah,
Wow.
what Wizardry X? That's
250 spell points.
Yeah, it's a crap ton of spell points.
Yeah.
So this is
Twice
a
that
great
for
armored caster
swords.
item.
Yep.
You don't see a lot of items specifically designed for armored casters, so pretty cool.
Yeah, this is the first set of armor I've seen that would make my sorcerer consider putting away her blue dragon scale.
Yeah. Yeah, so kind of a neat niche item. I don't currently really have any armored casters. I had some in the past, but that was the character I TR'd. So I don't know. Maybe I'll make one at some point, but
Is more wizards, according to the chat channel.
oh yeah, certainly. I mean, there are characters you can build. It's kind of fun. I mean, these days this actually makes more sense than it used to. It used to be so hard to getting meaningful AC at high level that armored casting was really just kind of a low-level stunt you could do. But now, yeah, I mean, if you can get yourself to a 50% armor class, why not? I mean, that's pretty handy to have on a caster. So, especially when you get all these goodies. I mean, that's a lot of great stuff.
Medium armor, though, right?
It is a medium armor, yeah. So you're
With
gonna have
Twilight.
to. Yeah, but there's armor penalty proficiency issues you might run into. I guess you probably don't care, but you could. So.
Well, it means no evasion.
Right, and no evasion. Yeah, that's very
Right.
true. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So that's about it for those items. To end our little crunchy segment here, we're gonna briefly. I'm gonna try to skim over these a bit, but talk about what was in Update 16 Patch 1. Just some highlights of the fixes and changes. So, and we should go over these astral shards, which we're going to do right now. So this is kind of like an alternative currency. It's a smaller denomination than astral diamonds. You'll notice on your character sheet there's a little astral shard thing right next to how many platinum pieces you have in your inventory panel now. And so it became clear to me, we were wondering, what the heck are these things for? What is the idea here? And I think I've divined it after seeing them in action. They intend these to be a cash spendable currency while you're playing, rather than going to the store. You can spend these in-game to do things instantly without having to hit the store. So you hit the store, you stock up on your astral shards, and then they let you do a bunch of things in-game. So just kind of way to make the money flow freer, which I can understand. Although the day they may jump the shark is when you can use these in the auction house to actually buy things. If there ever is a plat conversion rate on astral shards, then you know we've gone full out pay to win, or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, the astral shard balance is per server. So if you buy these on different characters, they kind of pool up. They're not per character. You can use astral shards to reset your epic destinies. You can use astral shards. They appear in your astral shard balance. That's that little kind of slot I was talking about in your inventory panel. Astral shards can be converted into other kinds of shards by double-clicking on them. Oh, astral diamonds can be converted into the shards by double-clicking on them. Features that use astral diamonds currently, such as the Cauldron of Sorakatra, will continue to do so for now, but that will change in the future. Astral shards are available in the DDO store, and you can buy them if you buy 140 at a time. It costs you 795 turbine points, which is about 5.68 shards per or turbine points per shard. You can buy 100, and that's about almost 6 turbine points per shard. 65 or 30, which gets up to about 6.5. And you could buy astral. You can still buy astral diamonds in the store for 45. But the conversion rate will only make that worth 9 turbine points per shard. So that's the worst way to get astral shards, is to buy astral diamonds. So that's how you can buy them. So we're looking at between 5 and 6 turbine points per shard, or cents per shard. So if you want to think of it in money terms, which I'm sure Turbine doesn't really want you to do. It's not real money, not anymore, now that you've bought it. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. To me, it's transparent and it doesn't really work. I still think of it as money. But now that we've got this, you got to think your money to turbine points and then turbine points to astral shards. So now it's pretty obfuscated by this point. Hard for me to do a quick mental calculation.
Oh, I'll help.
Yeah. I'm sure many people will anyway. When you're dealing with money, people are particular usually.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. Shards can be purchased. Oh, I'm sorry. Darling?
Oh, no, anyways, on the same kind of comment line, they're kind of bordering on taxable goods here.
Interesting thought. Yeah.
Taxable services and goods.
Yeah.
They're bordering on it.
I believe there are, in China, they actually do tax some MMO things now. But anyway, the shards can be purchased at various in-game services and store items, which include the following. You can spend 15 astral shards to reset your enhancements. You can spend 32 shards to reset your epic destinies. 15 shards will get you a journey with Fred the Mind Flayer. Airship amenities, airship purchases can cost up to 3,850 astral shards. And I'd made a note here that they're more expensive now, but that's no longer true. They have adjusted the prices so they are of a similar price that they used to be. Airship amenities cost you between 30 and 115 astral shards, depending on what it is you're buying. Gold Seal hirelings are still cheap, 1 through 6 astral shards. Not too bad, but they didn't cost many turbine points either. Item repairs, 15 astral shards when you're in a quest, 9 astral shards if you're resting at a shrine, or 3 astral shards while you are wandering around in public areas to fix your stuff. And I think that's cheaper than buying the repair shrine, so that's good. But they actually give you a little button on your inventory that you can click in order to activate this. Very convenient for you. So
Spend your money now with the click of a button.
I just can't see spending money to repair my items, though. I don't understand that.
It's only 75 cents. Come on.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, you do get a buff out of it, but come on. I'll just go to the guy and spend my plat. And come on. I don't know. So I don't understand that. But anyway, the only thing there I'm really likely to maybe spend the astral shards on is a feat reset, or a feat change. It's not very many, and I have bought the things from the store to do that before, so that's possible. These other things, I don't know. I mean, if my guild asked me to buy airship amenities, then I would, but my guild never really asks anybody because the people who run it have plenty. So
yeah, I can't imagine buying any astral shards to begin with, so I won't be buying any of these things with them.
Yeah.
I mean, I do buy gold seal hirelings sometimes, but I mean, can I still buy them with turbine points, or do I have to buy the shards?
All this stuff you can buy with turbine points still for the most part. So
I'm fine.
Yeah, exactly. I do have a couple of astral diamonds sitting in a bank somewhere, and I probably will bust those down to shards, so that and I'll have some and I'll spend them at some point. But that's about it. Probably on gold seal hirelings.
All right. Very good. Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
I have a couple too.
And you can loot these things. They do drop in chests, I guess. So so you'll probably end up with some one way or another. The first one is free, as they say. Yeah. So they fixed some stuff in Epic Destinies. I'm not going to read all those because they're always fixing a lot of stuff in Epic Destinies. Mostly focused on the new one, the Primal Avatar. I know there's some broken stuff. I've been getting buffs from Primal Avatars that stick with me through multiple quests. They're awesome. I'm like, wow, I'm doing all this extra fire damage. and there isn't one of these in my party. I just wandered by somebody who gave me this buff. I love these guys. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully they don't fix that real soon. I'm sure they will, though.
Don't fix it. It's a feature. It's not a bug.
I didn't see it on the list, but awfully nice.
Is that the frog buff? Or the squirrel buff?
Yeah, it's those buffs. It's that line. There was another one, the one I really liked gave me extra fire damage. I forget what it was called, but I would just occasionally proc like 15d6 fire damage.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was great. I was like, wow, this thing is awesome.
I'm taking my very next Destiny. It gives me my fourth. I get to open up a new one, and I'm going to open up Primal Avatar just because I want to have a frog buff. I just want a little frog running around buffing my party. I just want to see that.
Yeah, no, those things are great. I really like them.
You get a squirrel too at higher level.
Yeah, I don't know what all the different ones are, but I really like them. Let's see. A bug has been corrected which caused epic items from the Spinner of Shadows, Cannith Challenges, and Crystal Cove not to regain their +6 enhancement bonus when the cleansing ritual is used on an epic item that has a +7 enhancement bonus augment slotted. This has been fixed. To regain the missing +6 enhancement bonus, perform the cleansing ritual again. The 3 epic dungeon token cost to do this has been removed for affected items. So I guess they were losing their enhancement bonus, but you can get that back, so that's good. Newly found Potions of Wonder will now stack in your inventory, and they are far more unpredictable, so a bunch of new effects. I think we mentioned those last episode. Necromancers of Shindlerin for the quest The House of Death Undone have tightened security in their homes and allowed the laws of physics and causation to exist in the same rooms as their necromantic cauldrons. So this got a little bit of a feedback from the fans as a great, what the heck does any of that mean?
More vague, please?
Yes, the laws of physics and causation now exist. Which I guess what that meant was that when you break their cauldrons, it doesn't kill everybody in the room. How those two things mean the same thing, I have no idea. And they also lock some doors until you defeat the guards, are the changes that they made. So it makes the quest harder to just kind of sneak through and quickly stealth it without actually doing some of the fights that they intend you to have. And, well, it's kind of a bummer because I like the ability to stealth through quests, but I guess it was just too easy and made the quest kind of trivial. Base experience points for the quest In the Belly of the Beast have been increased. That's good because that quest is really hard. But it is a lot of fun.
It's the one quest that just tore apart my gear completely and utterly by the end.
Yeah, it can be brutal. So yeah, it should be worth a lot of experience points because it's quite challenging. The overall experience for the quest, the House of Rusted Blades has been increased. Increased, I say. Base experience for the quest has been reduced, but the experience for optional objectives has been increased even more. Pretty good spin there, Turbine, but basically people ran this for XP all the time because you could do it super, super fast, so they've made it, less incentive to do it that way. And I think it's a great way to handle that problem. Still make the quest valuable, just, make it so you got to earn it. I think that's cool. Of course, there was some hue and cry about that, but mostly from people who just want their cake.
No more epic XP grinding in those quests anymore. Thank you.
Well, I guess you still can. I mean, I don't know. When I run a quest, I like to do the optionals most of the time. It depends.
Oh, well. Anyways, on a side note, Brad in the chat channel says, back to Ironwood Kopashes for druids.
Yeah.
The Shillelagh spell apparently affects these wooden items.
Oh, wow.
So they increase the base damage by 0.5 W.
Yeah, up to 3W.
Oh, sweet.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
That's
Jewish
cool.
Kopesh users rejoice. I mean, there aren't many Jewish Kopesh users. Wait a minute.
Jewish Kopashes.
That actually might be historically accurate. I think Kopeshes come from that part of the world in that general time period to some extent, so that might actually be somewhat realistic. But yeah, Druid Kopesh users. There we go.
Well, not realistic, but canon to Forgotten Realms.
Oh, for Druid? Well, yeah, I guess.
I don't know. I don't know.
But that's pretty neat. That's a great trick. I think that's really cool. Let's see. Fix the level range fields on the Who tab and LFM window. So yeah, I guess that's good. Except for the LFM window has gone berserk. But, you know.
Well, actually, I think I was reading on the forum somewhere that today was some sort of fix or update in order to fix that issue. So it may not be doing any more updates or server bounces. So
we'll see. Fixed a physics problem that could allow players, monsters, and NPCs to slip through the walls or floors and become stuck. And I have to say, since the patch, I haven't had it happen nearly as often. Or I haven't been teleported around nearly as much. So they've definitely made improvements, if not fixed the problem entirely. So that's good. Yep. And that was the big thing that was a pain in the butt.
Much, much better.
Yeah, I think so. So it's nice when they actually do manage to get the things that they were after. And the hotfix that they did fix most of the bugs that were there. So that was good. Just one more new one that they had to batten down. So I understand you have some more topics from the blog there, Jeff. Something about Elminster?
Yes, and these are future topics of the blog, because I haven't actually written them yet.
Oh,
but I'm going to. So here's a preview, sort of. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe, regardless. I'm just going to talk about
things to
see
come.
what happens. Yes, so the first thing I want to talk about is Elminster. Now, I don't really care for Elminster. Maybe this is just me, but I have found that I know there's a lot of people who love Forgotten Realms, and okay, that's fine. I got nothing against that. There are some very creative parts to Forgotten Realms, but Elminster is not one of them. Elminster is derivative. We all know who Elminster is. He's Gandalf, right? So, and when I was a DM, I ripped off other people's stuff too, but that was just because it was for me and my 6 buddies. I didn't publish it, Ooh, Elminster, look, an all-powerful wizard. Anyway, he annoys me. But, okay, so that's the background. Now, I'm running the quest in Shinderlin, the series finale quest in Shinderlin. And I can't remember the name of it. If there's the House of Rusted Blades, there's the House of Broken Chains, the Undead quest, and then the finale.
Right. I don't remember what it's called either, but...
All right. So my gamer girl and I are running this quest, and it's not easy. We're running it on hard, doing it, the two of us. We can manage it. Fight. We come to this big open room. Suddenly, here's Elminster. Okay, and he says, "So here I am meeting you just like I said I would."
Yeah.
It's like, well, then where the hell were you 40 monsters ago? You're showing up here after we've done all the work. What's that all about? Right? So we finally get there, and he's already annoying me. And then he sends us off on these little errands. Oh, sure, I'll cast a spell for you, but, I need you to go get me some material components first. I'm just happy he didn't ask me to repair his robe or get him a cup of coffee,
Get me a beer while you're at it, kid.
Exactly, So I ran off and did his bidding, and come back and give him his stupid things. And then he casts this big spell. Here comes a bunch of bad guys. Okay, well now we'll see him at work, right? No. He puts up a barrier to protect himself and lets us fight all the bad guys. So, he's a dick. That's the thing. Turns out he's a dick. All right, sorry. Enough on Elminster.
At least he wears his hat.
He wears the hat.
Yeah, see? What is that hat? There's a Jungian meaning to that hat.
It's a barrier of some kind. He does the same thing in the new series, right? At the last quest, you beat the giant demon, and you've got the Nether Scroll, and then he's like, "Oh, hey, I'll take that powerful magical item for you. That's a little too dangerous for you guys."
I'll just take that. Thank you very much. I met you like I said I would. Of course, I didn't mention I'd meet you at the end of the quest after you've beat the boss. But yes, I'll meet you at the end and steal your stuff. Yeah, see, this is what a dick does, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So he's not an NPC. He's an NPD.
Yeah. Too true.
Well, the last quest in the Shindelrin area is called The Portal Opens.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
The Portal Opens.
All right, so enough about Elminster. But something else that kind of annoyed me, and I guess annoyed isn't the right word here, but my other topic that I wanted to talk about is also kind of a rant. I'm not normally much of a ranter. I don't know why that's where I am today, but back when I was a dungeon master myself, I had this. I was teaching people how to play. This was way back when Dungeons & Dragons, nobody even knew what it was. I'm kind of old. Anyway, I wanted to teach them a lesson that there are some encounters that you just don't fight. So I had this bright idea of I'll introduce them to a monster that's over their heads, and I'll have an NPC come in and slay it for them, and then tell them, you should don't fight. You got to learn how to run, right?
Yeah.
So, and I took advantage of this opportunity to bring in one of my own player characters that had, so I'm bringing him in as an NPC. I'm all excited about that, and here comes this beholder, and it's very dramatic, and here comes my character now as an NPC, runs in and slays the beholder and gives him this big speech, and I look around, and my friend Paul's doing calculus, and people are counting ceiling tiles. Nobody's enjoying it, and nobody's enjoying it because nobody ever does. That was the lesson I took away from that is you can't have, as a DM, watching a powerful NPC defeat a powerful PC is boring, which is kind of the opposite point of what I ran into with Elminster, where he doesn't do anything, right? So, okay, now let's take that lesson and let's apply it to the end fight of Caught in the Web. Now, if anybody hasn't run this raid yet, you might want to turn down the sound for a second, and I'll give you a second to do that. Okay. At the end, was that long enough, you think? Are we safe?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's
It's not a spoilery spoiler anyway, because really, it's over. So you win, sort of, you have an end fight, and then as you're leaving, oh no, another end fight, right? Here comes Lolth. And it's very dramatic. Except that what happens is you sit back and you watch as your NPC, and it's like a 5-minute back and forth dialogue. And, I just wished I could do calculus in my head like my friend Paul would have been, or count ceiling tiles or something. It was boring. So, I guess I kind of wish that had been an actual cutscene. And maybe this is a virtual cutscene. I don't know. I just found it to be really an anticlimax. I didn't enjoy it. And considering it's, the key raid of the expansion pack, I guess it kind of disappointed me a little bit. And I enjoyed the raid, but I didn't like the ending. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Rant over. Turn your volume back up. I'm done.
Maybe what they should have done there is to, they should have given you the treasure during that scene or something. Because then you could be busy looting and rolling off of the treasure, that sort of thing, while the drama plays out.
Yeah, or give us an actual cutscene movie like they did for Spinner of Shadows, and that was an ad, okay. But okay, so don't make it so long. Don't make it an ad. But let us exit out of it if we've seen it already, and meanwhile, we'll move on with our lives.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
All right, I guess if that's the biggest problem I have with the game, then I really do like the game a lot, because this is a tiny little problem, right? But nonetheless, there it is.
It is a classic Game Master thing, and boy, I've been in some terrible games that are pretty much the whole game is watch the Game Master's former player characters now presented as NPCs do everything for you while you bask in their awesome glory, right? It's like, this is the dumbest game I've ever played. I've been in some of those. Yeah, well, like the one that you did, you were just trying to set up sort of a classic story plot element. But of course in these it's just sort of, Game Master self-indulgence kind of a thing. Yeah, it's tough. I try never to do that. I have occasionally. I remember one convention game I designed. There's supposed to be an encounter, and they're low-level characters, and there's a demon summoned in the bottom of a boat, and I describe him as being, horrendously scary and powerful. And in most of the games, the characters wisely avoid him. There's no reason to go down there. It's just sort of part of the set piece, part of the storyline of the adventure. But in one of them, a character jumps down and he fights a thing, and it becomes very clear very quickly he can't really hurt it because it has damage reduction and they're low-level characters. And so I give him a little time to get away, but he just decides that for whatever reason that he is going to fight this creature. And even as the Game Master, I mentioned that you're pretty sure this fight is a hopeless battle. But another character, their role-playing is very brave, and she's going to jump down and protect her friend because he's clearly in trouble. So she goes down there and gets pummeled, and the fight continues. And then the other characters are like, oh, we have to help our friends out. And none of them are like helping them escape. They've got to go down and help them fight. And so almost everybody gets wiped out. A couple people didn't. But it's a convention game, so partly I think they just didn't care. They're just having fun. So, I don't know. It was definitely a strange moment where the party didn't take the hint or the direct warning or the ultimatum and just decided that they wanted to die against the implacable foe. Like, okay, so it goes. I gave them a particularly heroic sort of description and let it go, but but yeah, it's hard to do that. I mean, you really. I know you always want that scene where the villain kind of like was really powerful. You establish he's scary so that it's a real payoff later when they come and get him. But it's a hard scene to do in most role-playing games.
Oh well, it's a fun raid. I've run it over and over again. But
yeah, no, you're right. I mean, in my guild, we always just end up chatting about stuff while that's going on. We're just sort of shooting the breeze and not paying any attention to what's happening.
Well, it took me a while to realize that I was doing absolutely no damage to her. So I don't know.
Having a go at her.
I was emptying my mana bar. Nothing happening, but
that's funny. Yeah, no, I guess I knew. I don't know. I think I went with people who had done it before, so you just kind of see nobody else is doing anything, so you just stand around. That's funny though.
So what is your favorite end fight in DDO?
That's a good question.
My favorite one?
Yeah, if there was a good one that you like, that is a good example that they should be doing again.
I'll tell you, the single most heroic fight in DDO, from my point of view, is Vela at level.
Yeah.
Because it is just so hard to beat her, and it is so rewarding when you do. There's she, humongous giant red dragon. She's so big, all you can see is like one leg at a time, right?
Yeah.
And you're just, am I going to live? Am I going to die? It's at level. It's close. If you go in there with the juiced up character, you're just going to trounce her. But when you go in at level, it's not like that, and it's so on the edge. Am I going to win? Am I going to live? Am I going to die? Am I going to lose? That when you win, it's just a great feeling. There you go. That's my answer.
Good one. Anne, you got one?
Well, I'm kind of a tie between the Titan raid and then Twilight of Veil raid, Shroud raid. So Harry versus the Titan. I mean, like, both of them are very, you are in there, in the thick of it, trying to defeat the bad guy. And both require decent amount of cooperation with who you're with in order to defeat that bad guy. No NPCs, nothing, just you and your friends working together to beat the bad guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, watching the Titan fall over is pretty rewarding, right? It's a pretty visceral thrill. Oh, here he goes.
Right, exactly.
I usually describe it as a great relief that we're finally done with the damn thing. It's like, oh, we didn't screw it up. Yay. It's amazing.
Bug out. Yay.
Yeah.
So what's yours, Sig?
That's a good question. I don't know. I would say I actually don't like end fights very much. They're not usually my favorite part of a quest. They're kind of like the inevitable kind of draggy final part. I'm trying to think of one that I really like. I do find Beholders as end fights pretty interesting. So say like the end of Delirium, the first one.
Okay.
Where you fight the big Beholder and he does puzzles during the fight and there's some Reavers chasing you around. I find that one both really challenging and kind of interesting and exciting. So I like that one a lot. I'll go with that. It's hard to say. I do like fighting the dragons, but I like the mobile dragons. So I like the individual ones you fight in various places. So. But not sure. There's a lot of pretty good ones. I will say that, yeah, the Veil is a pretty fantastic quest in that it's a series of end fights, and most of them are pretty good. So instead of just one end fight, it's a series of different situations. I think maybe beating down Harry twice isn't super exciting, because in a way, the penultimate one, where you fight him and the blades come in and then he comes and goes, is more of a dramatic encounter than the final one where you just sit there and thump on him. But depends. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's my take. So what have we been doing? I've been helping Anne get her green dragon scales. Almost there. Just a few to go. Getting my Pale Master to 24 so I can use the upgraded Night Forge Docent that I upgraded to a level 24 item, but wasn't level 24 yet. Trying to get some boots out of Detour, but not having any luck. Finding orbs for other people instead. I saw The Hobbit. I really liked it. It was fun. It's been getting some harsh marks. Mostly people think it's kind of long and a little boring. I was not bored for one moment of it. I really enjoyed the whole thing. So I don't know. To me, it was like a great Dungeons and Dragons movie. It maybe didn't remind me a lot of when I read The Hobbit, which doesn't have quite so much action and swashbuckling in it, from my recollection. But man, it was like a great D&D movie. It's got a rogue and a wizard and a bunch of fighters, a whole lot of fighters. No clerics, but but I mean, it really feels like a Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, it's got that slightly over the top quality in some of the combats. You know, you're like, well, that would never happen in reality, but boy, it sure was cool. So yeah, and great characters. I don't know. I love the hell out of that thing, and it's got lots of neat dwarf stuff, and I like dwarves a lot. So I loved it. How about you, darling? What you been up to?
Oh, well, mostly working on my green dragon scale armor. You know, trying to get Purple Dragon Knight Favor 375 is a lot. And then in addition to getting like 200 flawless green dragon scales, I have to get 15 commendation pips or whatever from the War Wizards, and another 15 from the Dragon Knights, and then three commendations of heroisms, which you only can get in raids. I only have one of those, so kind of just working on that.
Yeah, it is a pretty epic item to get.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Jeff?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Darren.
And I was also working on finishing up my favor for other things, and also trying to work on my epic destinies. So I'm gonna switch out of Fate Singer and into, I don't know, I'll pick something.
How'd you like Fate Singer?
There is one ability that I like, and that's the one that fascinates them and then gives them like 1,000+ sonic damage at the end of it.
Siren's Charm.
Siren's Charm, thank you. That was
that thing is really cool. How about you, Jeff?
Well, I had a lot of real life this week, so getting ready for the holidays and refinishing my floor. But I did get some DDO time in, and that was primarily spent on my River Tam build Knicker. So I'm trying to get her some Duergar war axes and trying to get her capped to keep up with my gamer girl, who continuously points out to me that she has a capped character and I do not.
Oh, that's right. I capped. I got to level 25 this week.
Oh, well, congratulations. Very good. Very good. Golf clap. Golf clap. So that's where I've been. I will say one thing. I have done all those Shinderland quests now. Well, one of them a couple dozen times. We don't need to talk about which one. And the others 3 or 4 times each. And I have not seen a named item drop yet.
Oh, wow.
Not one. And same thing with the update, the update 16 quests.
Mm-hmm.
No named items in any of the quests. Not one.
Yeah, I've seen some for other people. Not so much for me. And got a Drow Light Mace.
Light Mace.
Yeah, Drow Forge Light Mace.
I don't know. No, that went on the auction house really fast. I gotta share that love.
Is it still there?
Yeah, I've had to put it up twice.
Ooh, speaking of items, I've got a candidate for the silliest item name to say out loud.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's a cloak. It's called the Drow Piwafwi.
Oh, yes.
And I think I said it right. I feel like I'm not saying it.
What does Piwafwi mean?
Piwafwi. I don't know.
Well, that goes back to the original modules. That was the cloaks that they wore. I have no idea what the origin for that is, but I'm sure there's a story for it. We'll have to ask Jeff. He might know.
Oh, God. Hold on. Piwafwi cloak.
Yeah.
I remember that from Neverwinter Nights. So.
Piwafwi. It's fun to say.
Yeah.
It's drow. It's drow. It's drow for cloak.
Except
okay.
It's drow for cloak.
Yeah, you want to say it as dwow. It's the dwow.
Drow Piwafwi.
Oh my God! It's a Piwafwi.
It's a woven magic cloak.
Oh my.
Sorry.
Are we making fun of Drow now?
Yes, we're all racist. Sorry.
Is that against the LFM policy? It might be. I don't know. See, a DDO Chronicle. There's no Chronicle this week, so I think Turbine has all hands on deck trying to deal with the patch parade, and so no time for making Chronicles, which I approve of in this case. Shamgar, however, delivers some community action. He's got Building Blocks 18 up as PJS Techie. This one's an introduction to voice chat in DDO, and kind of with an ear for the sound quality of that. Oh, what is going on over there? Oh, there's a cat in front of me.
Cat butt.
There's a cat butt on the camera. That's great. Wow. Anyway, so yeah, Shamgar's got that up. Not a lot of details yet, but he's just kind of introducing the subject and getting into it, so you can expect more of that from him. And he also sent us a segment. You'll be hearing that on the next DDOcast. We'll have a couple segments for that. None, however, for this week's show. And boy, we're almost done. I've got one little piece of outside gaming news, which I thought was kind of interesting. Mostly landed in my email inbox. The Secret World MMO has gone free to play. You do have to spend $20 to buy the game itself, so kind of like Guild Wars 2 or something. You got to buy the game, but there's no more subscription fee. And I think pretty much you get access to the full game. They do have an in-game shop, but it's mostly cosmetic items, from what I understand. Which is maybe a sign that they're having trouble getting people to play. But I did look up reviews for the game, and the reviews were pretty good. Apparently it's pretty interesting and definitely a different feeling kind of game. There's a little more exploration and investigation involved in it, so I don't know. If I didn't have a lot of other games to play, I might try it out. So if you do try it out, let us know if it's any fun. Because it always looked really interesting, but I just never quite give it a shot. So I don't know. But pretty cheap if you want to try it out.
I got news.
Yeah, what you got?
I got Asheron's Call 2 servers is back. They put up a server. So if you were once an Asheron Call 2 player and you miss it, well, you can download the client and install it and have a new server. So they have a new server.
Is it free?
It's in beta right now.
Oh, okay.
Can you believe it? It's an old video game MMO back in beta.
Yeah, and if you look at pictures of it, you can see DDO's heritage in that game because it uses the same engine, and so it kind of tells you the DDO looks maybe a little dated these days, but it looks pretty good for its age. Asheron's Call 2, so that's funny. The cat has now come down here, and presto, cat. So they really want to be on the show today. Well, that's all I got. Jeff, you got any parting news or ideas, thoughts? Cats.
Hello? Is he alive? I don't know if he's alive.
I don't know.
I think he's frozen.
May have lost our audio feed for Jeff. Oh well. Well,
Jeff
we're
is
pretty
no
much
longer there.
Yeah, we're pretty much at the end of the show, so we'll sign off. A big thanks to Ann. Big thanks to Jeff. Big thanks to all the people in the chat room for helping us out with the show, and our other listeners as well. We appreciate you guys listening. Big thanks to Turbine and Wizards of the Coast for trying hard. Please try a little harder, but trying hard, which we appreciate. Now the cat is eating my camera. If you want to be a part of the show yourself, you can leave us a voicemail on the Yark line at 1-855-DDO-YARK, 855-336-9275. Email us at DDOcast@gmail.com. Give us something to say on the air, or join us for the show, or do a segment for us, and we will love you forever. Or a commercial. We love those too. And that's going to be it. So we'll go out with a little bit more of Dance of the Cultists.
See the blazing God before us, fa la 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 la. Join us in our morbid chorus, fa la 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 la.